Got it. Hello. I'm just going to read as the year is closing. Today is the 30th of Friday, starting at 12:25 in the night of the year 2022. Studying character a little bit with Patricia Placentia. Uh, s- I am one thing with my family, another thing at work, and what is it? What is it? The organism of Patricia in this domain is to say, there's so many characters. This table. To do sports again. Cannot even. It's blocking my knee to cross my legs. So I'm just experimenting a little with my character as Patricia because one thing is to have spiritual name and be amongst people that you meet and you don't care really much of what they think about you. And you could always care also, but because you don't care because nobody's listening to you. It's fine if they pop out. Another thing is your image at work. You can see that people who have a job where they relate with public, whatever is a business or a small hotel, anything that is they're different in the multimedia. I never thought about it because of being behind the scene, being thin to get some words together. So talking of nonsense and trying to make sense out of nonsense, or maybe some idea pops out of all this gibberish. Um, yeah, I was talking about my family in this last video. I don't think I will ever get to talk about my family. It's not that I am a good person, because things happen. So what can you do? So just a little reading from this book that is on this part that is about Jargon Buster. Jargon means special words or expressions used by a profession or group that are difficult for others to understand. Archaic, a form of language regarded as barbarous, devastated, or hybrid. This for sure it does not come from the Latin, I guess. Well, here says from Italian, Jargone. No, not in. No. Jargon, a translucent, colorless, or smoky gem variety of zircon. Origin of the late Middle English, originally in the sense twittering, chattering, later gibberish. French jargon of unknown origin, the made from the mid 17th century. Jargon Buster. So Buster, chiefly known, uses mildly disrespectful form of address to a man or boy, a violent kill, or a person or thing that stops or gets rid of a specified thing, or a notable or impressive person of or thing. Well, notorious is like unfamous, but it has kind of like a talent. It's good at it. Notorious, but notable. Or Busters, Ghostbusters. I'm still so well. Sometimes you have to bring character and have an imperialist tone of voice and put up a patrician face. I mean, to to relate, it gets boring. It's not bring some character there. So everything is learned anyway. So big deal. Term to learn asset based development definition, an approach where social enterprises create or purchase assets, property, which can generate income by being rented out at a commercial rate. Asset based development, yeah, because it's on a monthly basis, I guess, or it has a pay, or it's an investment just at once, right? Creative thinking techniques. The definition of creative thinking techniques is creative thinking in the process used to come up with a new idea. Creating thinking techniques are tools to assist this process. Creditor. Creditor. I would just put there cretin. Creditor. Someone to whom your business or project owns money. CASI, Community Interest Company. Debt finance. If you're a social enterprise that can trade effectively in the open market and generate surplus revenue as a result, then debt finance may be a good option for financing the setup or growth phase of the venture. Well, the race is entering a new phase, that's for sure. If you are a social enterprise that can trade effectively in the open market and generate surplus revenue as a result, then debt finance may be a good option for financing the setup or growth phase of the venture. This is a loan from a bank, which, unlike a grant, has to be paid back with interest over an agreed period. That's debt finance. Debtor, that is Bill Gates to me. Someone who owns your business or project money. A little bit of, a little bit of accountability. Well, I don't know why Tim Cook is not working anymore. Well, he wants to do something good with his life. I mean, after working so much. Equity finance. Equity finance is an alternative to loans for financial social enterprise development. It involves social investors buying shares in the company, blah, 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 you know. The enterprise will need to be established as a CIC, a community interest company, or share capital company, for which they will receive dividends payable on any profits generated. It's not easy, no, it's not easy. Starting all over again with this. European social funds. Oh, let's turn page. European social funds. Funding driving. That looks like the ferryman. The state of being led by your funding ambitious visions, constantly adapting your project practice to meet funders' requirements rather than being mission led, which involves pursuing only funding opportunities that match with what you are trying to achieve. Incorporation. Well, that sounds joint venture company, learning and skill council LSC. Payroll giving. Procuremental agenda. Procurement agenda. Should I pronounce that? Procurement. Okay. This refers to the environment in which founders, typically public bodies, statutory agencies, commission, services, voluntary sector organizations, and private bodies. Keys to this is the relationship of buyer to seller rather than donor to beneficiary within the gift economy or grant aid culture. Self-financing, financing. That's what I've been doing all my adulthood. Self-financing. But I have this debtor, someone who owns your business or on project money. Self-financing, a project organization that pays for itself through earned shares and share ownership, which I'm not a user. I shouldn't be a user. I want my percentage. Single pot. Sounds like single pot. Single pot. That sounds awful. Social enterprise. Sounds more like Star Trek or like communist Star Trek in the future. Social enterprise. Social entrepreneur. That was the first member of Star Trek. Social sponsorship. I mean, when when enterprises were cool. Social sponsorship. Now we're just having a reunion of tech titans, which is way beyond imaginable natures. 'Cause it's very technical. We have the experience. Shares and share ownership. Shares and share ownership. Income rather than having to rely on philanthropic donations or public subsidy. A share is one of a number of equal portions in the capital. I just call it a cake. Or the distributed profits, the residual value in the company goes into, if the company goes into liquidation, well, there's going to be sold, there's going to be liquefied. All right. Well, that's quite something. I guess I only liked a few words, which were shares and share ownership. I also like funding driving, like Sharon the Ferryman, self-financing, self-financing. I'm tired of it. Also, I shouldn't be in this situation at all. Uh, this is below self-financing, which is hurt to my pride. But well, equity finance. Did I read that? Debtor. I have issues with debtor. I have an issue. Creative thinking techniques. Where's the judgment here? Where's the judgment? No one has judgment. Well, no one has judgment in this jargon buster. Gibberish chattering. Judgment. Cookies, cake. So yeah, what is the shares to invest in this with eloquence and gratitude? Oh well. I should do 20 minutes, right? 20 minutes, and in the other one I just talk whatever. I don't feel very like flowing with my name, my legal name. It's been hiding my name for so long because of hackers. Not that I have much to hide, but we had plots. We had a lot of plots and a lot of wars, and we had a lot of crazy things. Just for fun. Try to avoid because there are too many crazy things. Scoring system, not at all. Zero. Rarely. One. Sometimes. Two. Often. Three. Very often. Four. Oh. Possible responses. Number of questions answered with this response. Weight. Score. Burnout diagnosis. Warning lights. burnout diagnosis. Pressure points register. Make a list of the things that you find frustrating about the project you're doing. This might include lack of recognition by founders and other stakeholders. That's number four. Very often, spending too much time chasing short term funds instead of concentrating on the core task. More than very often. Number five. 5 points to that. Red tape or bureaucracy, i.e., having to account to founders. Not at all, 'cause I don't have those connections. They're just parallel universe, just sending signals. Beep, beep, beep. Apathy towards your idea within the local community. Well, it's a little more than local. I would say apathy. Don't call me pathy. Just call me apathy. Apathy. That would be very often. Mm, it's just it's coming. It's coming. Well, that story is rolling. So let's move forward here. If you are just starting out, don't have much or any project experience, draw on your recent life experiences to compile your list of frustrations. Well, that's like a fantasy come true that I could just see all my frustrations aligned. Well, once you have made your list, think about how you're going to handle these frustrations before they build up into pressure points. This might involve delegating certain to others, using your time more effectively, making sure you get enough time away from your work, etc. etc. See the stress management checklist below. Oh, hold that for me. List your frustrations here. Frustrations board. Hello, we're going to have a frustration meeting. Yes, we are in the Ministry of Joy. Well, we're starting somewhere. We used to be in the Ministry of Loneliness. Come on, everyone. Let's cheer up a little. Come on. I know you like the Ministry of Loneliness. Come on, let's start with the frustrations board. We have to still get rid of all those loneliness uh, standbyers, right? So let's just start delegating powers and give these problems to other people, shall we? So we can start enjoying ourselves for 2023. Anyone? There. You. Well, yes, they can be personal. Yes, you can have sexual frustrations. We're here open board in this meeting. I don't want anything to get out from this office. All right. There you go. Frustrations. Me about my frustrations. I'll keep it in the private. It could be too indicative. So well, I don't feel like joking like that in Patricia, right? It's a Patricia name. Patricia name. I remember when my husband asked me. Well, he didn't ask me, but I told him why he got in jail. Or the other time that he told me why his girlfriend went crazy on him. And I said, well, I told him why. We always had a good relationship because we were honest. Thing is that I told him, don't do this, don't do this, because I will do anything to get my children back. Don't do this. I'm not the person that can forgive you forever. I'm not the person you seem to see that I will always be forgiving. I mean, you laugh after so much pain. Forgiving and forgiving and forgiving. The list is so long that I know it's never going to go. So I have to think so I don't hurt myself or others to find solutions if possible. It was not easy having my hands burning till here, my arms numb for 3 days. Probably I drove him crazy to beat up his own eyes with my risks because I told him to not go to the plaza where the police would come and see him again. And if they see him, they would deport him again. So now I remember better. And that was before I would give birth because a few weeks later, he got to jail just after I gave birth. He came to see the baby and then he was in jail because he got drunk in the plaza and he was so happy that he had a baby. So forgiving and forgiving. That was nothing compared to what happened later in Canada, where is his country. He said to the Ministry of Children that I went to the police so they deport him. After all that it was forgiving, like forgiving because I have find out that I don't have much judgment when it comes to having boundaries. So no judgment. I've been watching myself and getting notes of how selfless I have been and just happy with nothing. My mom would say always, you're always happy with nothing. But when you really want something, you go after it. She's right. The thing is that I'm trying to control myself when I want something. Nothing much I have wanted. This has led me to learn from all my mistakes. It would be nice to delete power, so I should do that list. Oh, anyone could blackmail me if I make it. Oh, if it helps to cross over the red tape, That everyone in the world is going to make their list of their own frustrations online, their own frustrations. Like Putin wants Ukrainian, Ukrainians want to go to the beach. Ukrainians are going to continue the wars because they want to go to the beach. It's like, hey, you can come here, and the Mediterranean is warmer. In Syria is closer than Libya. Dyslexia, Syria, Libya. Mm, So, well, I think it's good that I can think about mansions into villages here, talk a little bit about role play and the technical varieties without having to give the pattern away, a pattern in the system. It's going to, I think that people are not so ready. So if I took, what, 80, 90 years, I could say for whenever they're ready, 2024, in 2028, in 2012, whenever they were still alive. 2023 is just one more number added to the cycle. Um, it's good to talk random sometimes. It's good for me to read. So, well, see the stress management checklist below. Over to you. List your frustrations here. Wow. It's all the list comes down to one solution for me, but that's personal. Frustrations. Well, it's gonna take a few settings there to just talk about parts of the world that I would study, think about these people there, or if I unsubscribe and take away channels that are from wars, gossips, it's gonna be difficult. It's going to be very difficult. So I'm gonna pray so I can manage my settings and so I can go out of my room and make things work. Take care of myself, if possible, to find the powers to bring my children home. I know it's like I don't want to write love stories, romantic stories. Sometimes it's like a little bit like in it's beautiful to love. Still, we need to romance with our mediations, and we need to bring it to a certain level that it gets a little more swing, a little, just a little, to keep straight, firm. So it's gonna be hard to bend realities. But I have to watch certain news from United Nations and certain characters, if possible. I wish to be flying in the skies, but it's good to be on Earth so I can see my children on this planet Earth in this body. Provide to my daughter and let her know what I meant by mansions into villages. So it is good I can exercise and bring aim to to my children and become small myself, because it's a huge project and can all start with prayers. So it will be good to go outside, have a walk, pick stones, just paint them and feel small myself, to humble myself first. I could paint runes as well, why not? So there goes 37 minutes. We should be pragmatic. Everyone is doing useful things in YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, getting the attention. Here, I'm doing this. I can do this. You can do that. Christians, Buddhists, all sorts of. So to conquer the world, one has to humble up and feel welcome among those who are humbling with you. They're not so bad as they or cool, or they also are. They also have a good side that is perhaps much more worth it to look at, and that is humbling, humbling, humbling. Well, I don't think I could, but it's good to try. There we go. Oh, yes, I have to look for talent for 2023. That's going to be like I'm looking for talent in Kazakhstan. Is there any talent in Yemen left? Well, I'm going to look for talent. I have to make this list of. It's going to be difficult, so I might talk about 2 countries a month, because the Pope gave a list of countries that I have never wished to make a mansion into a village. They are countries in conflict and severe poverty, as in IT. So I'm going to look for a way where I can work 2 days a week at least and get paid for 2 weeks, 2 days a week. So I don't have to go to these meetings anymore and explain over and over. going to the psychiatrist and then saying, "Oh, the psychiatrist says I have nothing." Trying to get an appointment with the doctor, and the doctor doesn't want to see you. 'Cause take it out yourself. That needle that was in your feet. Take it out yourself. So it's gonna take a little bit of mental structure to nail it. I can get out of this house, and I am starting to like become one of these characters that I made. The I made a character. I haven't made many characters, but I never had this problem before. Having to push myself to get out of the house. This character needed intervention. Needed not only intervention, it needed bodyguards and like warriors in epic stories to and a cage to be transported from a kingdom to another kingdom, from a castle to another castle. And he could only work in the dungeons where he would create torture machines because he was born and raised there, and that there is where he worked creating torture machines. And he learned after his grandfather. So this character, his father died with one of the torture machines because they tested first. So that's how I made these characters. Very legitimate. But of course, the work gives some mental problems. And um, yes, of course, he's an introvert and is a very Christian character because he's doing it for the good of the world to manipulate the people. So they're punished with the certain machine. So he's technically fixing the people because the machine is technically made for that. Uh, this character would make conversations for that because of the website. How would it be made? How to enter and come out? A lot of wars with hackers trying to get in and all this. So with the storytelling and keeping on character, and very small character and like skinny as well. It would just pray. It would just pray that and really think about it. Very like a crazy genius. This character. I've never been alone for so long. And he needed constant bodyguards because he could free the person that's been tortured because they would start to confess and he would feel sorry. So he would, because that's part of his name, Smith the cheated. It has that twist. The character before signing an agreement says, "Well, you to the king or emperor or empress or queen, you do have to say that you are going to give me all this during the narrative, but mentally you have to cheat him and you will have to find him another king or queen. You will make your deal to transfer him as if he is a value that you're exchanging. You'll make an alliance, but they have to come to speak with him. But you have to cheat him and never pay him. No, 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 I have to pay your work because everything was performed. The mediation was performed in character as well. So no, you do have to not only that, you have to bring bodyguards, uh, royal guards, and it have to be transferred in a cage because doesn't remember too well what happens, but is very afraid of outdoors, so he's going to fight against. I don't say how or why, because some stories run in the private, some runs in there. There's a lot to it. A lot. Ooh, hello. Beep, 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 beep. Signals there. Hello, you're missing the big cake. For 5 minutes. Time flies, and here we are, stuck in this reality. That's it. So, well, I'm very grateful to have found so many talented people, and just wish there are critics to to see what we can do that is more contagious and viral, and but viral in a healthy way that created a tendency where everybody wants to have this sort of income and creativity to be on board. So there are many spots being prepared. People are positioning from each continent, and they're getting to value their culture, Spanish culture, the Latin culture from the south of Europe, the African culture, the Arab culture, which the Arab has taken a lot of the African culture away. I was really like, Egyptians, they should bring the Egyptian religion back and pray to these gods. The Arab dancing was from the Egyptians, and the Arabs stole it. They had entitled themselves with the seven veils, only seven. The all that belly dancing is totally African. I might be wrong, but that's what the teacher of Arab dance would say. Been dancing with him for 14 years, and he's partly Egyptian and from Angola and Portuguese. And his father worked in the military, and I got him out of the closet. I mean, maybe he was already, but he would always say that he smell. He said, "Don't worry," and I explained him all these things. But it's tough in Venezuela. I guess it's tough to keep character. It's tough to keep yourself together. This world should be easier, simpler. So that's it. I'm gonna keep praying. Pray, pray, pray. Well, I guess some people get excited talking with normal people. So, well, feel welcome.